Today we're east of Orillia, Ontario for the annual Truck King Challenge.
And tell me what Chrysler has brought to the table. Look at me.
Sure, okay. This year, FCA's brought out 3 products from our Ram brand. We've got our all-new ProMaster City mid-size cargo van. We've got our full-size ProMaster van, a cargo van, and we also have our returning champion, the Ram 1500 Eco Diesel.
What is it that the Truck King Challenge brings to the plate for your company?
It's a really unique opportunity in the Canadian marketplace to allow, well in this case, 3 products from the Ram brand to be compared back to back with their rivals in their segments. And I'll start again.
Yeah.
Let me start again with that.
No worries.
So what the question is, what does it bring to us? The Truck King Challenge is very unique in the Canadian marketplace in that it's a competition that brings together a group of expert judges, in this case 9 of them, and also the vehicles from their segment all at one time to compete with one another. So it's a really thorough and really well-organized event.
Why do you think it's important for the OEMs to be on site during the testing?
Well, I like to be here during the testing because it's amazing to watch the judges getting in and out of the cars and seeing their reactions to them. And it's nice to be here on site because it's a very well-run event too. It's great to spend time with Howard and his team and to highlight Ram with them.
Was there anything that surprised you even with your own product?
Anything that surprised us? I'm trying to put my head back where we were because before we won.
You know, the weights that were added to the vehicles for testing.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that continues to impress us with Truck King is the way the testing is executed. They don't go halfway with anything. It's always, you know, for example, this year Howard had concrete bricks actually formed in proper weights and that kind of thing. So it's consistent throughout the vehicles. It's also very securely done and organized. The trailers, everything's strapped down properly. So it's, like I said, it's very well organized, but Howard is also very concerned with safety and making sure also that in the comparison, things are apples to apples all the way across the board.
Okay. The Truck King Challenge is a unique award in that it's the only one of its kind that we know of where the trucks are actually worked. They actually have to tow, they have to haul, and they have to go off-road in addition to just driving empty. So this gives us an idea of what they can do in extreme conditions, and other awards just don't put them through those kind of paces.
Was there anything that impressed you? I mean, you've probably driven a lot of those vehicles. Was there anything in particular from any of them that...
From any of them? I found myself very impressed with the Canyon and Colorado diesels, the new diesel trucks from General Motors, because they're mid-size. They're not as large as a full-size truck, but they have that diesel engine now. It's a small one. It's a 2.8-liter 4-cylinder, but it gives you an awful lot of torque and towing capacity, but it's not as big if you're going into areas where a big truck isn't what you need or it's something that's easier to get in and out.
There were representatives from the manufacturers there. Why do you think that's important to have them on site?
Because they want us to say what they want us to hear. Honestly, we could do with it. I don't know. Is there an advantage to it? I don't know. Honestly, I'd be hesitant to say if there is or there isn't.
Okay.
Sometimes they pay for dinner.
Can you talk a little bit maybe about Howard and you know, what he's put together and the legacy that it already sort of has?
Mm-hmm. The Truck King Challenge has been going on, I'm going to interrupt myself. Is it 8 or 9 years? Do you know?
9.
Okay. The Truck King Challenge has been going on now almost a decade, and that's really important for consumers because now they have an option when they're looking at pickup trucks. Nobody makes a bad pickup anymore. They're all good. So it's the subtleties that are going to make the difference of whether or not you're happy with your truck. And that depends on what you want it to do because unlike a car, a truck has a variety of uses. It can tow, some people want it to haul, some people need it to go off-road, some people just want it as a big car with an open trunk in the back. And to be able to understand that this truck might be better on-road, this particular truck, if you're going to be hauling heavy loads, here are some of the things that it does better. This one here, well, maybe it doesn't brake as well as the other ones. Maybe another one doesn't have that acceleration. These are the sort of things that you can't tell in the showroom, and you can't tell from a brochure or an advertisement. It's when journalists get out there, experts who know what they're doing, they've been driving trucks for many years, they get out there, they tow, they haul, they put these things through the kind of work situations that people are going to get into, and they can report back to you in an unbiased way so that as a consumer, you now have another option when you're shopping.
And just looking at me,
Yep.
take yourself back and tell me where we are and what we're up to today.
We're at the 2016 Canadian Truck King Challenge. And it's really the only challenge of its type, I'd say, in Canada for sure, and maybe even outside of Canada, where trucks get put through the real-world testing of what truck owners want to do with their trucks. So towing, hauling, payload, and also driving them empty, which a lot of truck owners do. But really here where a lot of trucks get tested to the capacities of what they're designed for. So towing their payloads and hauling trailers and stuff of that nature.
Tell me why you think this kind of testing is important for the public.
We think it's really important. I mean, what we build our trucks for is real world capability and customers' needs. So we're the only company out there that has what we call a 3-truck strategy. So we can offer you a heavy duty truck, a full-size truck, or now our mid-size truck with the Colorado and the Canyon in the mid-size segment, and also introducing a diesel there. And so for customers who buy trucks to not just drive around as a passenger vehicle, but are going to load it with payload in the back of the bed or haul a trailer, the testing done here at Truck King Challenge really test those elements. So customers who are looking for that are going to get feedback from the Truck King on how these trucks perform in that type of testing condition.
Tell me or describe Howard and his crew of judges.
I mean, Howard is, I'd say, the Canadian Truck King himself. It's probably the appropriate name for his competition, his event. Howard's a very well-respected journalist when it comes to trucks here in Canada and outside of Canada. This Truck King Challenge of his and the judges that he has coming out, they are truly experts in this field. To them, a truck is more than just a passenger vehicle. It's about a truck is for a lot of customers out there, and I think this is how the judges see it. For a lot of people, it's a workhorse as well. It's someone's living, so it's not just a recreational vehicle. For a lot of people, it is. Hey, we're going to take our boat or our RVs and tow them. But for a lot of people, their business is the truck. So, trucks that can tow and haul for your business, keep our customers out there, profitable in their business, knowing that they have a reliable truck that they can get up in the morning and go do their daily work with and bring it home. And on the weekend, probably haul their family and kids around in it as well.
Was there anything that surprised you either with your equipment or anyone else's?
You mean at Truck King? I mean, our entries were, we had a mix of entries this year. We had our all-new 2016 Silverado. So we have a new transmission on that truck and a new engine, a powertrain, and a whole new front end on it. But I think for us, one of the biggest ones in the feedback from the judges there was our mid-size trucks. So we like to say we've redefined that whole segment. There has been very little choice in that mid-size segment for years now, and we've introduced the Chevy Silverado and the GMC Canyon. And then this year we also included a new diesel. So we're the first with a 2.8 Duramax diesel in that segment, and demand for it has been outstanding. And hopefully we're going to win something for Truck King, and I think we have. I don't know if we can say that in this interview, but that our biggest thing at this competition has been really showcasing that diesel engine, and for the judges, but also for our customers, because they're in high demand, the mid-size segment itself, and in particular now this mid-size, the diesel engine has really been proven to be quite popular with customers today.
Why do you think it's important for someone like yourself coming from the manufacturers and actually being there during testing?
It's interaction with the judges. I mean, I think it also shows, how seriously we do take these competitions. I like to attend a lot of these, on a personal note, a lot of these competitions and spend time with whether it's a Truck King Challenge or other competitions throughout the year. It's showing that, hey, we're committed to these processes and these competitions, and we take them seriously. Because especially when, as a company like ours, as we launch a new product, and if you can come out with a win in these competitions, you know, we use this as we market the trucks to or vehicles to the customers to say, hey, this vehicle has won XYZ award, or in this case has won an award from Truck King, which I think as the Truck King brand grows itself over the last X amount of years, there's more and more recognition out there, especially for people who are you know, truck enthusiasts and truck customers. I think probably in Canada, a lot of them have probably started to hear about Truck King Challenge, and then they recognize these awards more and more.
We'll go back a couple weeks. Just tell us where we are and what we're up to.
We're at the Canadian Truck King Challenge. We're out in the backwoods of Ontario, and because I'm from Saskatchewan, I have absolutely no idea where. All I can tell you is that we have the trucks, we have the off-road course, we have pavement, we have weight, and we have the ability to make these things work.
Now, for somebody who doesn't know anything about the Truck King Challenge, how can you describe it in a few words?
The Truck King Challenge takes all of the new trucks, not necessarily new to the market, that are available, and takes them out and tries to treat them as people would use them. That means driving them loaded, driving them empty, driving them off-road on trails through bush, all of the activities that people think a truck should do.
Why is this important for the consumer, this kind of testing?
Consumers can use the information that the Truck King Challenge generates because most other programs aren't as comprehensive. They will take vehicles that are, say, new to the market as opposed to just brand new for the model year without being able to give a comparison to older vehicles, and older being model-wise. If you have a model that's been around for a couple of years, how does it stack up against the latest and greatest? And sometimes, new isn't always better.
With the extensive testing that you did do, was there anything that surprised you?
I can't really say I was surprised by the trucks. They were what I expected. The Colorado Canyon diesel was better than expected, but it really wasn't a surprise. That was something that's been around in other markets, and we knew it was good. We just didn't know how it would stack up.
How important do you think it is to have a representative from the manufacturers on site during testing?
Manufacturers' representatives, on the positive side, provide us with information that we may not be able to pick up readily. They'll have the facts, the figures, they'll be able to answer questions, they'll know if something malfunctions. Because in some cases we're working with hand-built prototypes that have been shipped in special for this event. On the downside, sometimes they subtly try and influence decisions, and we have to guard against that.
Can you just describe Howard Albert to people that don't know anything about Howard?
Howard comes across as somebody who's a little bit loud and doesn't always think things through, but trust me, everything he does is well thought out, well planned, and well executed. He is detail-oriented, and that's what an organizer needs. Not only that, he has the skill, the knowledge, and the ability to do the testing himself. This is somebody that had an idea and has decided to make it work, and it works.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't asked?
As far as testing goes, this type of testing is an absolute blast because we as testers get to make the truck do what it's supposed to do rather than what the manufacturer thinks it should do on a paved highway for 3 or 4 hours.
For somebody that doesn't know anything about Truck King Challenge, just give me a thumbnail of what it's all about.
In English, that one, eh?
Please.
Okay. You're rolling?
Yeah, look at me.
Truck King Challenge is, it's not exactly a road test or a comparison between different domestic trucks. Actually, it's some kind of a pretty important physical test of trucks that we use mostly for work. So the trucks we had in the Canadian Truck King Challenge are vehicles that are intended for work. Even if they look flashy, they're intended for work. They're intended to pull, they are intended to load, and that's it. Those are vehicles, workhorses. So to pit them one against the other will give people who buy commercial vehicles a good idea of what they can do with these vehicles and probably help them make up their choice. And for people who look at it also as just plain consumers, also will give them a pretty good idea if they want to use their trucks really to work also with them.
Tell me about the judging.
Judging the trucks is not easy. Fortunately, the way it is organized, we can do it because, first of all, we got parameters that we have to stick to, and we can do it because we do put them in some actual real-life situations. We're not on a racetrack. We're not like that. We're really like pulling real weight. We're on normal roads and all that, so it gives us a real-life situation. So that eases a little bit the tasks.
Going back now, en français, tell me about the event and where we're at and set it all up en français.
All right. Ce qu'on appelle le Canadian Trucking Challenge, c'est en vérité un test comparatif de camionnettes, mais pas des camionnettes nécessairement des camionnettes de loisirs, mais des camionnettes de travail. Alors, ces véhicules-là, en Ontario, où nous sommes sur la piste, en fait, la piste d'essai, ce n'est pas une piste d'essai comme les automobiles ou les compagnies d'automobiles ont. Ça, c'est une piste d'essai qui est faite sur les routes normales, donc il n'y a pas de vitesse d'impliquer là-dedans. Ça, ce que l'on fait, c'est qu'on tire vraiment avec les véhicules, on roule vraiment avec pas de charge pour nous donner une idée de ce que c'est que leur tenue de route et choses du genre. Et on tire aussi avec des remorques et tout ça nous donne, je pense, une image assez précise des capacités de ces véhicules-là.
And as a judge, can you just give me a thumbnail about the real-world conditions you tested?
Alors, c'est pas toujours facile de juger comme ça une vingtaine de véhicules. On a toujours un petit parti pris quelque part, mais en travaillant comme on travaille, l'organisation est tellement bien faite, c'est que justement, on a ajouté des poids. Tout le monde a le même poids, tout le monde tire le même poids de remorque. Alors, tout est pas mal équilibré. On fait des routes qui sont pavées, on fait des routes de terre, on fait des routes rapides, on fait des situations même urbaines avec les fourgonnettes. Alors, tout ça, c'est fait que c'est un peu plus facile à juger, vu que ce sont de véritables situations de la vraie vie.
Why do you think it's important to have a representative from the manufacturer on site?
Some representatives of the manufacturers were on site. Fortunately, none of them intruded into our work. They were there as observers, and they also learn a lot. That's what they tell us. They learn that for once, I mean, it's not a road test done by magazines just to show off. It's a test done to see the real life workhorses they are. So, and they say they learn a lot also at the same time. But none of them has been some kind of a burden for us anyhow. So they just observe.
And can you tell me that en français?
Alors, oui, il y a des représentants des constructeurs qui sont là, mais ces représentants-là ne sont pas là pour nous dire quoi faire. Eux aussi, ils disent qu'ils apprennent à voir de la façon dont on travaille avec les véhicules. C'est très important pour eux autres d'apprendre qu'il y a d'autres choses que de faire de beaux véhicules pour les magazines. Et puis, on les salit, les véhicules, on les fait travailler, on met des charges. Et pour eux, ils voient de la vraie vie de ce qu'on peut faire avec un véhicule, même si on doit le faire travailler fort.
As a judge, were there any surprises during the week?
Tout genre d'événements comme ça contient de petites surprises. Des fois, il y a des petites affaires qui nous sortent comme ça de la boîte, c'est vraiment drôle. Par exemple, un des véhicules qu'on a eu, à un moment donné, pour une raison qu'on ne peut expliquer, il est rentré avec une dizaine de milliers de kilomètres à l'odomètre et le lendemain, il montrait 967 000 kilomètres. Comment a-t-on pu faire sur un réservoir 1 million de kilomètres avec le véhicule? Reste un mystère, mais c'est tout simplement, je crois, comme on le sait, les ordinateurs jouent toujours des petits tours au monde et c'était un des incidents cocasses qu'on a eu pendant notre travail.
Now, can you tell us in English?
Yep. Any event like that, there's always something that happens that sometimes it can be funny. For example, we had one of our pickup trucks. When we got it, we had some 10,000 kilometers on it. And the next day, it had 967,000 kilometers on it. How did we do 1 million kilometers overnight? I don't know, on one gas tank, but that was pretty funny. Probably some kind of a computer glitch that can happen to just about any product in the world.
Can you just, for people who don't know Howard, just describe the man and the project that he put together, which 9 years later now we're experiencing?
I've met Howard on some press events, mostly with light trucks and things like that, and we became friends very rapidly, and we shared a lot of, I believe, a lot of the same ways of thinking. I helped him a little bit set up the Canadian Trucking Challenge, and I think the way that he's been doing it is pretty honest and has evolved very much to the point that we have, I believe, something that's very, very reliable as far as the results are concerned. So I really trust him in what he does, and he's as funny as may seem. He also listens. The vans is one of my ideas, and he thought it was a good idea because it was a commercial vehicle, and there's so many of those new vans on the market. Why not include them into the trucking challenge?
And can you give me that en français now?
Howard Elmer, qui a mis sur pied le Canadian Trucking Challenge, je le connais depuis déjà quelques années. Je l'ai rencontré dans un événement de presse, dans un voyage. Et rapidement, on est devenus amis parce qu'on partageait des idées semblables. Et ça fait 9 ans maintenant qu'on fait le Canadian Trucking Challenge et j'adhère pas mal à sa façon de penser encore aujourd'hui. Et je pense qu'il est un homme qui écoute aussi les autres lorsqu'on a de bonnes idées. D'ailleurs, l'idée des fourgons de livraison dans le Trucking Challenge est mon idée à moi. Il a trouvé qu'elle faisait beaucoup de sens vu qu'on parle de véhicules de travail et il y en a énormément sur le marché. Et présentement, on a beaucoup de nouveaux fourgons. Donc, je pense que ça pouvait faire partie, ça rentrait dans la philosophie du Canadian Trucking Challenge.
Today we're north of Toronto in the city of Kawartha Lakes at the Ironwood testing facility, and we're out here testing some brand new pickup trucks.
For somebody who doesn't know anything about the Trucking Challenge, how would you describe it?
So we take you know what's new and exciting and the latest technology in the world of pickup trucks, and we do our best to use it the exact same way a consumer would. So we put trailers on the back, we put payload in them, we load them up, we get them muddy, and then we look at the results. How do they really handle and again, real world conditions? That's what the event is all about, real world.
And what do you think this information actually does for the consumer?
Well, rather than someone who reads a review of a pickup truck from a guy who just drove it around for a week empty, we're giving them exactly how they're going to use the truck. So they can come to our website and check out our information and say, with 6,000 pounds on the back of that truck, it's going to do this. And for a lot of guys buying pickup trucks, that's what's most important, is how it's going to work for them, because more so than a lot of other vehicles, trucks are tools, and they're going to be used as tools, so you want to buy the best tool available to you.
Can you just describe the kind of payloads that you're using today?
Sure. So we had, give me a second, I think they were, I gotta think, they were all 1,000 pounds. Yeah, okay. So we used a 1,000-pound payload for each one of the trucks, which isn't necessarily pushing them to their limits, but it's more than half of the payload rating, and it's a really good representation, I think, of what someone in day-to-day might be using. We actually had a few different sources of payload. We had bricks, we had patio stones, but the payload is irrelevant. It's all about the weight, and what we're doing is exactly what some contractor would be doing, loading up the back of their truck.
Why do you think it's important to have a representative from the manufacturer on location?
I think it's important for the manufacturers to come out. Let me take it again.
Yeah.
I think it's important for the manufacturers to come out for two reasons, really. One of them is just transparency. We're not here to hide anything. We love when they come out because we want them to see what we're doing, and we want them to be involved in it. We don't want to, like I said, we don't want to hide anything from them. So it's great to kind of have that transparency in the process. And then more than that, it's good to have them there as a source of information because, they obviously know their products inside and out. So it's great as a judge to get out of a truck and say, hey, GM, what was going on with, the transmission or the engine or et cetera, right? So it's good to have them there as a little backup source of info.
Was there anything that surprised you during the week?
First of all, it didn't rain, which was a nice surprise because trucking always rains. I think I was probably most surprised by the Ford Transit, actually, which is their full-size van. It did win the Trucking Challenge last year, and this year it had some new stiff competition, but it still held out and it still took its category, and it was just impressive in the way that it, first of all, handled the weight, but second of all, it was very useful. Everything in the dash and in the driver's area is very geared towards a guy who's out there doing deliveries, who needs small cubby holes to put his stuff, who needs like a clipboard, who needs a plug. All that stuff is covered really well. So I was pretty impressed with the Transit.